What is up, folks? Justin Khanna here. Do you need a new chef knife? Are you just trying to nerd out on some gear with me? This video is actually part of a side-by-side series comparison of some really fantastic knives from small independent makers and larger companies alike. If you want to check that out, go ahead and click or tap right here. This video is individual knife specific, so let's get right into it. Okay, so we absolutely have to talk about these guys. This has been a brand that's been making some massive waves lately. This is Cangshan. And if this logo looks familiar, yes, I've covered their sheaths on the channel before. They look like this. They're fantastic because they have different heights as well as different lengths, so you don't have to worry about having a custom fitted saya. You can effectively buy a set of these, and then same way to how I have mine set up, I keep them on a magnetic block in there out of the saya, and then when it's time to take one, I just pick what saya fits, and then I clip it in, and then I'm on my way. Sorry, weird tangent. You're not here for sheaths, you're here for knives. I actually did an unboxing when I received all of these knives. Maybe we should roll a little bit of that. I have a feeling that this unboxing experience is gonna be decent, so we're gonna do that right now. Okay, nice, nice. So it comes in kind of like a cross-stitched, semi-shiny with the logo there in a box. It looks like this is one of those magnetic enclosured ones. Don't eat those. Cool. Okay, great. Really interesting profile. So that's that. Let's get this out of the way. All right, next up, the larger box here. Asian style edge. What does that mean? Tell me what that means. This is like a Costco unboxing here. Sure enough, it's gonna stab me in the hand. Extremely strong magnets. Okay, got it. I understand. So there's this little satisfying to peel off sticker on the back. Very similar branding on this side. It just says beautiful function, Cangshan there. And it's like a rose gold copper almost. In a second, but whoa. Look at the tang. It has like extra steel down here. Can you see how that tapers like that? You can see it even more exaggerated if you look here. Do you see how that's wider there? Ooh, this has serration. Almost looks like, oh, they stick together. Oh dear. And there is a little bit of oil on these. I'm all about it. Don't let it rust. Okay, final box here. Same vein as, ooh, fancy. Wow, look at that. So this comes in a wooden box. So you see the three very different presentations here. So you have the, you upgrade. I'm really glad I did it in this order. How does it look? Okay, nice. Pulling it out here. Ooh. Okay. This is nice. Can you hear it? Okay, unboxing over. Let's get back to the review. Let's talk about this one first. We will go most affordable to most expensive. Right off the bat, very interesting saya design here. I'm not 100% sure if I like this. They call this like a half sheath saya, where it is a magnet, but what I don't like about it is sometimes the knife can get like this, where it kind of, the tip starts to peek out a little bit, and I think that can be a little bit dangerous. I would rather have something that fully encapsulates the blade. So yeah, starting with their TC series, this is Swedish Sandvik 14C28N steel. It does say the Rockwell hardness rating of 59 plus or minus 2 right here on the blade. Triple riveted handle that they don't say on their site what it's made of, but if you've ever used a Wusthof or even one of the Mercers that I've covered before here on the channel, it's that handle to blade junction, and I feel like this will be nothing new to you. Also, we need to talk about shapes with this knife. The blade profile itself has the spine go ever so slightly down into the tip, and the belly does a pretty consistent swoop up, and then the bolster isn't a traditional like abrupt stop. The handle into blade, the knife gets noticeably thicker heading into that handle, and then that results in a really sturdy grip on this. Overall, personally, when I look at this knife and I see how they market it with the full tang and the handle materials and the NSF stamp on the blade and the hardness of it where it's a little bit easier to sharpen, I think this actually fills a really good void in the market for someone who's like, listen, my work has crazy strict standards on what tools I can use, and they have to be completely sealed to prevent cross-contamination and bacteria growth. But I hate the boring look of a Victorinox. I want something that's a little bit thinner, has a gorgeous pin details, and comes with a carbonized wood saya that has magnets in it. And I like the angle of the base of the handle and how it kind of mirrors the bolster angle and makes it look sleek. Does that sound like you? Did we just jinx? In all seriousness, if that sounds like something that is attractive to you, I think you should probably get this knife. But I think how thick and chunky this blade is, Partnered with the hardness of the steel, you can probably feel comfortable getting this and having it last you at least 2 to 5 years, especially if you were weighing this against something like a Dowel Strong. You can get a set of 3 of these knives, this one, the serrated, and the pairing for less than 160 bucks right now. Speaking of pairing, I gotta say, this little pairing that's part of the set might be one of my new favorites. I just love the blade profile. The balance is great. Look at how long the handle is compared to the blades. You can really choke up on it and still feel balanced when you're cleaning like tiny vegetables. I'm gonna be super sad to give this one away on Patreon, but I'm also super pumped because I know whoever wins this is gonna love reaching for this tiny pairing. Okay, so maybe the TC series isn't your jam. Maybe you want some more artistic details without giving up any performance. That's where this series comes in. This is their Z series. We've got some high carbon X7 steel. They say this is forged Damascus. I can definitely see some sandwiching happening on the blade here, which is fine. They're claiming 67 layers with a 60 Rockwell hardness, plus or minus 2, and then that leads to this very clean break going between the Damascus blade and the non-Damascus steel that makes its way into the full tang of the handle. I know I'm not supposed to do side-by-sides outside of the larger video, but just take a look at the difference here between the TC and the Z series. This one is much thinner, but it's only about 10% lighter, so you aren't losing any of that weighted feel in the hand, which I personally love. On their site, they make this handle look super shiny, but it actually has a pretty matte finish, which some of you might gravitate towards. Similar copper and brass colored pins in the center here, and the handle has all of these contours, which, especially if you have larger hands, might be a big draw. It's got that little swoop here down towards the bottom of the handle, which is nice, and the blade profile is only slightly curvier than the TC series. Hopefully the B-roll of the blade profile is doing it justice here. I almost think this looks like a dagger. Fun fact on this blade too, it's also got that NSF stamp of approval without the visible NSF stamp on the blade. So if you're a little bit more utilitarian in what you need, but you don't want to look utilitarian, I think this is a really good option. It's got that pinless magnetic walnut saya on it, and at the $97 price point, this could be a pretty valuable piece in your kit if you're wanting to invest in your first harder steel blade, going beyond maybe the knives you have right now that are at 56 to 57 on the Rockwell hardness rating, and you have to sharpen them a little bit more than you'd want to. You want something that lasts a little bit longer and still looks kind of dope. I think it's a good option. All right, let's talk about use on this. It was good overall. When it comes off the stone, for me, it's a dream to use. But because, like I said, it's got this interesting blade profile, if you're the type of person that has to prep during service, this could be a great option because it's thin enough where I feel comfortable carving protein with this. But then if you're like, shit, I'm about to run out of apples for marmalade, I need to dice more, you can comfortably do both with this. You don't have to go grab another knife from your bag. In order for me to recommend this though, as your full workhorse, I would need to make sure that this felt comfortable in your hands first, because with a chunky, beefy handle like this, I would want to make sure this wasn't going to cause you any fatigue. But again, I keep coming back to the price point. Dude, 97 bucks with the saya, what's not to like? All right, the third knife that the Cangshan guys sent out is part of their J series. So Japanese VG10 steel here. It's got that same claimed 67 layered Damascus pattern. It does have that distinguishable fusion between blade and bolster, which is not Damascus. And the only seam here, believe it or not, is where the wood and the metal meet, which is kind of sleek. So instead of going blade tapered into this thing that inserts into the D-shaped handle, the blade leads into the bolster, and then that attaches to the handle, which is kind of interesting. Maybe you like that, maybe you think that sounds kind of stupid. Speaking of handle, this one is made from African blackwood. It feels good. The color is much darker on the set that I received than the one that they show on their site. It also doesn't 100% match the magnetic walnut saya, which is personally fine with me. I like a little wood variation, but some people really love when it's a clean match between the saya and the handle. We're rocking the same hardness as the Z series, so you have 60 plus or minus 2, but in my experience, this performs a little bit more consistently and lasts longer than the Z series, which might be the steel, yes, but also a little bit of my subconscious bias because I would use both knives for different things. And that's because personally, this is the profile I think of when I think 8-inch chef knife. And I would use this for 80% of my day when I was prepping. I personally wish that the handle was a little bit thicker. I'm only talking like millimeters thicker. And that's because yes, there is the tapered D style profile, but it's not that exaggerated feel where your hand actually grips the knife. So that makes it feel a little bit more like a wooden dowel in your hand rather than a proper knife handle if you do a pinch grip like I'm doing here. Price on this, including the other 2 knives as part of the set, is just shy of $300. If you're stepping into this price range, I don't think this knife is not gonna serve you well, but when you come to the table with that kind of budget, I think a lot of other very enticing doors open for you. And I wouldn't want to blindly sway you in this direction because frankly, this performs at a very baseline level. It's not gonna be the best knife you ever buy, but it's also not a toy. This definitely, it gets my recommendation, right? But, and I have to insert this asterisk, that's only if you look at this knife and you're instantly drawn to the wood handle and the Damascus VG10 steel and the way that this joins and the way that it looks and the blade profile. If all of that just is like, I love that, that's been what I've been looking for, you aren't gonna go wrong with this. But just for fun, I did a quick search on Korin and Chubo knives, and it's dangerously tempting what you can load up your cart with for $300. Overall, seeing Cangshan partner with chefs like Thomas Keller and getting a bunch of design awards this year is absolutely exciting. I think they make rock solid products. I've been using them personally even before they decided to send me stuff. I think they're also very aware of the current state of made in China, especially in the knife market, and they seem to really want to plant their flag in the ground as a company that does things the right way. Consistency-wise, I was much happier with what I received from these guys as opposed to Dalstrong. Shout out to everyone who's seen that video. It just seems like they're unapologetically Chinese, and that makes me happier than seeing someone pretend to be artisanal and hand-forged and steeped in Japanese tradition when it's really just coming off of a conveyor belt in China. Shout out to everyone that enters on this solo video because there are gonna be 3 winners here, so best of luck. Do you want a chance to win this knife? It's completely free. Please leave me a comment down below with your favorite feature of this knife. Please get some color on that like button and make sure you're subscribed. Yes, I check if you're subscribed when I pick a winner, and I look forward to getting this on your cutting board ASAP. Thank you so much for your attention. My name is, of course, Justin Khanna, and I hope you have a good one.